Hi, everyone, and welcome once again to another edition of our podcast, Inside JEFCOED. I'm John Huddleston, Director of Communications for Jefferson County Schools. Thanks so much for joining us today. We're talking today about the Jefferson County Schools Educational Foundation. Many students need help outside the classroom to help them live up to their full potential, and that requires money, resources outside of education funding. And that's where the foundation comes in. And I'm very happy to introduce today the Executive Director and our guest for today's program, one of our guests for today's program, the Executive Director of the Foundation, Dr. Gertrudis Hunter. Dr. Hunter, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, John. I appreciate it.
Let's jump right into it. First, explain how the foundation works. I gave the brief abridged overview right there, but there's so much more you can say about it.
Yeah, so how the foundation works, we have the fiscal agent for the Jefferson County School District. We are a nonprofit organization, and we raise money to support the educational programs, the wraparound services, and the resources for the Jefferson County students, educators, and staff. So we do that by soliciting businesses, donors, and local politicians and people that want to give to the Education Foundation to support the children of Jefferson County. It takes a lot of work to run a foundation for the school district, so all the support we can get is much needed.
Why, in your viewpoint, is the foundation an important part of helping students succeed?
Well, because we provided supplemental funding, with that supplemental funding, it allows students to succeed in what they do in educational instruction. So with that, it bridges the it bridges the gap in the divide for financial services, that funding that public schools might not be able to give. So we provide those resources, those supplemental resources, those wraparound services, and those resources to the whole entire county. So when it cuts out the red tape, like I said before, they don't have to go through the school board to get the funding. They just come directly to us, and we can distribute the funds to them.
What are some ways that the foundation, specific ways, I guess, the foundation supports learning in Jefferson County schools? There are so many. Give us just a few of them.
Yeah, we have quite a bit of programs and initiatives, but we have the Education Grant Program, which is our flagship program where we give grants to teachers so they can fund their programs within their classrooms. We have the Career Pathways Initiative where high school students learn for their jobs and after high school and job placement, college placement. And we also do the Science Olympiad for Jefferson County Schools, and also the exceptional program. We have exceptional kids, and we do exceptional prom and gone fishing, which is one of our biggest educational programs.
Yeah, if you haven't ever been to the
gone fishing, prom fishing is absolutely wonderful.
Tremendous program.
Yes, tremendous.
Programs that a lot of people have probably heard of, but never really maybe gave it a lot of thought of where that money came from, because it does cost money to put these things on.
Sponsors, we have a lot of sponsors, private donors, businesses that contribute to it. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of work, and a lot of staff to put those on. But the money and the resources is where we need the most help in getting the money through the foundation so we can continue to do these programs.
Yeah, one of the biggest programs that the foundation has going right now, Wi-Fi on the go, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. But first, many students don't have access to Wi-Fi when they leave the classroom, and that includes Minor High School. The principal there, Yvette Sanders, explained to us on the impact of not having Wi-Fi access and what that can mean on hampering a student's academic success.
After COVID, we pretty much did everything digitally. And without Wi-Fi, it causes students to have incomplete assignments. With Wi-Fi, if a student has missed an assignment or if a student has to turn in something digitally, it makes it so much easier for the teacher to keep up with it and the students to go in and complete assignments that have been assigned, whether it's on Schoology, Google Classroom, or any other platform. So the access to Wi-Fi will help to ensure that the students have fewer incomplete assignments that are given digitally. Because we're living in an age now where most all information is found through a digital platform, including our textbooks that we use. Even the textbooks that we use here in the district are digital. But if the student does not have access to Wi-Fi, they will not be able to keep up academically. So research shows that when you have a student who has limited proficiency with internet access, if you will, or just limited access to Wi-Fi, it does decrease their ability to be successful because of the fact that we are truly living in a digital age. But without that access to Wi-Fi, it does hinder the students and it puts them back, not necessarily in the Stone Age, but it does put them back and it sets them back from their peers who actually have access to Wi-Fi.
All right, so we heard from Dr. Sanders there. Somebody's out there in the schools on a daily basis, and a lot of things that I did not even know listening to her talk there. Explain the Wi-Fi on the Go program and how it can help Jefferson County students and their families who don't have that all-important Wi-Fi access at home.
Yeah, so the Wi-Fi on the Go program is one of our biggest programs. It's our most, and the way it works is, well, first let me go back. Out of the 36,000 students here in Jefferson County, 9,100 students do not have Wi-Fi access.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. That from data that we pulled, we did a survey. So 9,100 students are still without Wi-Fi services. But our Wi-Fi on the Go program, we partner with Leanstream, who then, and T-Mobile, and they provide mobile hotspots for our students, staff, faculty, for their families can enroll in the program. And we also do tablets now for a one-time fee. So they can have access to a tablet because we know how expensive they can be. But the Wi-Fi on the Go program has allowed students to get that Wi-Fi that they need so they can continue their education and succeed in the classroom. So we're looking at trying to get funding where we could provide services for the students that don't have Wi-Fi to have this Wi-Fi for at least a 3-year, for them to have the hotspot for 3 years. So we're looking into funding and grants for that.
Yeah, and you mentioned the tablets. I know that's a new initiative.
New edition, yes.
Yeah.
And it's we've had a lot of responses. A lot of people have joined up, and it's a one-time fee for the tablets, and then you have either an Apple or an Android tablet. So it's been really good for the program.
Yeah, and one thing, we were kind of kidding about it before we came on here, hearing Dr. Sanders talk about, all the textbooks now are on.
Digital.
Yeah, not like it when we went to school.
When we went to school, I know.
Yeah,
and
but
that was surprising because I know, so Wi-Fi is important for students to access their educational resources. So it's really important that, and Wi-Fi with it being our biggest program, we want to get it out there to folks to let them know that we have it. So
yeah, and frankly, if you don't have access to it, you're not able to do homework. That can lead to a whole host of problems, and you're behind in class. Everything kind of falls from there, and it shows you how important this program is. How do parents, students who are interested in this sign up for it?
So they can come to our website, which is www.jeffcoedfoundation.com, and on our website you can sign up for the Wi-Fi to Go program. You can also get your tablets through there. We'll ask you if you have a student in the Jefferson County schools, and you say yes, or if you're staff or a family member. So yeah, it's a widespread way who can sign up for it.
Final question for this part of the podcast. Is it just students and their families in Jefferson County school system who can take part in this program?
Yes, you have to be enrolled in as a student. So any family member of a student can enroll in it, and any staff or educator can.
The Jefferson County school system also has several programs to help students who are homeless. And for this part of the conversation, we are joined now by Hunter Davis. Hunter is our district homeless liaison. And Hunter, we're going to talk a little bit about the programs that JEFCOED provides in just a few moments. But first, let me ask you, talk about some of the ways that homelessness impacts a student's education.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the opportunity of being
Absolutely.
here. And, homelessness in education has a tremendous effect on our students. And so nationally, 1.4 million students experience homelessness. And more recently, reports indicate there's an increase in that. And so with that homelessness that's experienced by students, 48% of those students experience chronic absenteeism nationally. Now, I like that that our district has about a 38% average, so much lower than that national percentage. So I think our programs that we'll talk about are doing good work and making sure students have that educational stability. And then the grad rate for our students. Nationally, when students experience homelessness, that grad rate's about 68%. This past year, we had a 100% graduation rate for our students who experienced homelessness. And so again, I really want to brag on our programs and the personnel that help us lay out, run those programs. I think they've been really beneficial for our students. And additionally, those pre-K through 12 students, we promoted 97% of those students. So while that can have a negative impact on students, and we've seen that nationally and even locally sometimes, this past year for us was a really successful year.
Yeah, and for folks listening that might not know, chronic absenteeism defined as, I believe it's 18 days per year, which equates to roughly 10% of the school year, for any reason, being absent. You mentioned, before we jump into some other questions here, you mentioned those numbers right there. I did not know that. That's tremendous. 100% graduation rate, 97% promotion rate, I think you said. What are some of the reasons what are some things that you attribute to that success, I guess?
Yeah, I think we have great personnel in our schools that are helping to identify these scenarios when students have been displaced. And so helping us make sure we identify those situations and those scenarios, and then helping us make sure we can serve those students in a way that is beneficial for them, both socially, but beneficial for them academically, and making sure that they have that educational stability.
Why is it, in your viewpoint, important for a student whose family finds themselves without a home to stay in the same school?
Yeah, well, in a season of residential, transition, it's beneficial for students to have that educational stability. And when it's in their best interest, this may be in a school that they've been familiar with or been enrolled with in the past, but it may be that we need to make sure that they're in the school where they're residing currently. And so, again, making sure that we're able to identify that scenario that student's going through so that we can make sure they have that educational stability helps them really make sure that they have that academic success that we really desire for them as a school system. And more importantly, when students experience homelessness they lack that high school diploma or GED, they're 4.5 times more likely to experience homelessness in the future as an adult as well. And so there's a domino effect that we're really trying to make sure we address now so they can have success, not just as a student and a graduate of Jefferson County, but also as an adult.
Programs that are available for students and families that might find themselves in this situation. What do we offer here at JEFCOED?
Sure. So once a student qualifies for McKinney-Vento services, for those that are displaced, we're happy to come alongside them and help them make sure they have that educational stability. So getting enrolled in that school where they are familiar with, or making sure they get transitioned to that school that they're residing in the zone for now. But then things like clothing, school supplies, hygiene kits, and then making sure we can refer them to outside agencies that can provide maybe more comprehensive services for them.
Talk a little bit about the Central Alabama Children's Fund, and Dr. Hunter, you feel free to jump in here as well because I know it does involve the foundation. How does it help students?
Yeah, so while we do receive federal funds through our state education agency, those are fairly precise on what we can spend those on. And so when we're fortunate enough to be granted those funds by the United Way Central Alabama Children's Fund, we're able to run those funds through the foundation and make sure that we can partner in providing more comprehensive services like we mentioned. And so it really helps us make sure that we're able to serve that whole child and make sure that we're helping them be successful in school.
And that is just another part of the foundation's goals and its missions.
It is. It's a great program, and it allows to cut through the red tape as well, for them to come directly to us so we can just cut them a check so they can just go ahead and get the services that our children need. Yeah, so it helps a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And time is of the essence in these situations a lot of times. Cutting through that red tape, it's a very good point, the ones you brought up there. Finally, Hunter, if a family finds themselves in this situation, has a student in Jefferson County schools, who can they reach out to for help in this situation?
Sure. Well, they're more than welcome to reach out to their local school administration, who can then, get that contact information to me, make sure that we make contact with them, or if they want to contact me directly here at the central office as the district homeless liaison, they are more than welcome to do so. We're happy to speak with them, have a conversation, figure out their circumstances and how we can best support them.
All right. So now, Dr. Hunter, I want to talk a little bit about you. You're fairly new to the foundation, though. Tell us a little bit about your background and a little bit about yourself as well for folks who might not have had the pleasure of meeting you yet.
I'm originally from Boston. I've been in nonprofit work for about 15 years. I have graduated with my law degree and my PhD, and I'm a social worker by trade. I've been doing reentry programs and nonprofit work for 15 years as a developmental director, and I love the work. I'm passionate about people, passionate about helping them, and just getting them the resources that they need. And with my background as a social worker, it makes it easy for me to do that.
Die-hard Celtics fan, too.
Die-hard Boston Celtics, Red Sox fan, Patriots, and Bruins, yes.
Not long after she got here, she gave me the office and said, guess what, I'm going home this weekend to see a Celtics game. So, but, getting back to the foundation, why are you so passionate about the work that the foundation does?
Just helping kids succeed in the classroom is a passion of mine, and children are a passion of mine, but just getting the resources that people need that might not be able to get them otherwise. And I just love what I do. I'm good at it, and it's rewarding for me. Anytime, I get to see the faces of students and even educators, and the thank yous I get for helping them and doing my job. And I love coming to work every morning. It's a great job.
What are some of your hopes for the foundation moving forward? What are some things that you could see us or see you and the foundation board taking it in the future, I guess?
Well, we are in a rebuilding stage. They have been without an executive director for 3 years. So we are now, rebuilding. I'm rebuilding a new brand with the foundation, getting new donors in, doing fundraisers. And just letting people know that there's a foundation that exists for the Jefferson County schools. A lot of times people don't understand what a foundation does, being the only fiscal agent for the Jefferson County schools. So, just allowing them to know what we do, giving them an insight and how important it is to support the students of Jefferson County. And to do that, we do need funding. Funding is a big part of it. Grants have been cut now, so we rely on donors to support the foundation in all the work that we do.
If you don't know a whole lot about school finance, it's very strict on what that money can be spent on. Right. The education funding can't be used for many of the programs provided by the foundation. So how do you go about getting that funding, I guess?
Well, because we are a separate entity from the Jefferson County Schools, although we are their foundation, so we have a lot less restriction on how we can use that money. We can do a lot more programs. We can fund a lot more programs that maybe the school board otherwise couldn't fund. The foundation is a catalyst and a go-between the staff and educators that need the money. So. But we are, it's easy for us to disperse the money rather than the school board to disperse the money. But we do with other local schools too. We have Centerpoint comes through us. A lot of the school systems will come through us in order to disperse that money because it's easier for us to disperse that money for funding.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the big events that I'm excited about, and I know that you are too, exciting. I know it's taken a whole lot of planning too, but we have a gala coming up in December. Yes. Tell us a little bit about that. What can you share about that at this point?
So the gala will be December 12th this year from 6 to 11 p.m. at the Florentine Ballroom. It's our first annual black tie gala and silent auction. We're having a sit-down dinner. It's open bar. Entertainment, dancing, and a silent auction where folks can come in and bid on silent auction items. You can also bid online, but it's our biggest event, and I am so excited because it's our first annual, and I'm looking forward to it. And so for people to come, it's an open event, but you do have to RSVP by November 24th, and they can RSVP with my email, which I'm sure you'll put on the website for them. So I'm very excited for this opportunity, and we are soliciting items for silent auction for sponsorship. So if you'd like to sponsor, they'll put my information on the website so you can get my name and my number. But it's going to be epic. I'm so excited about it. Everybody is just doing something and getting back into doing stuff here, and for the board and for the staff and students. It's good that the foundation is up and running again.
Yeah, absolutely. And y'all, we work together, I think, first really kind of on the Teacher of the Year program that we do every year. And boy, I was glad to have you on board for that because you carried a lot of the weight and did a fantastic job on that banquet. And for folks that don't know at home, that's something that we have traditionally done here in Jefferson County Schools for years, is honoring our 5 secondary and our 5 elementary finalists as well, and then naming ultimately a Teacher of the Year from both those categories. We'll wrap it up on this, probably the most important question I've asked all day. How else can people help the foundation? How can they make a donation?
Well, they can go to our website at www.jeffcoedfoundation.com, and up in the top right-hand corner of our website, we have a donate button, and they can donate there, and it would be greatly appreciated.
And thank you for watching this edition of Inside JEFCOED.